50% complete here for day number 5 of the FACEIT Global Summit as we are in our grand finals, and we have 3 games down and 3 games to go. It's been an exciting morning already as all of those Southern Circles have allowed here the PKL teams to really benefit and get themselves 3 chicken dinners back to back. Not only Africa Freaks Fatal, but also VSG, and finally rounding things out, OP Gaming Rangers. My name's Kyle Harris, I'm your desk host, and to my right-hand side, Toffee's an Avenger. Always, always, always. But now we're shifting gears. Now we're going over to Miramar, and it got a bit hotter in here. It's going to get a bit hotter in the games, I think.
I think it's going to heat up. I think not only because we're going to a desert, but because of the fact that the clock is ticking. Teams know that they are 1/4 of the way through potential point earning options. Time to turn on. And for some teams, there's just better middle drops for them on this map versus, I mean, we saw a wrangle. If you want to drop in the middle, you have to fight 17, Cloud9, Liquid. Yeah. Plus, then you got like 4 a.m. right above them. I mean, it's just that whole middle of the island is just a nightmare, which is why everyone's having a lot of trouble there.
And on top of that, we're going to see on Miramar, we're going to see 4 a.m. potentially fight with Nip in San Martin. I'm curious to see what's going to happen in Picado. If Liquid is going to go in Picado and be fought there as well on their home turf. But I'm curious. It's going to be very exciting here in Miramar.
Yeah, definitely. And when you kind of look at some of the teams that may have been struggling a little bit on Erangel, but now coming onto Miramar, they have an opportunity. Who are you looking at? Who is your magnifying glass on to see who's going to be able to get some points here?
Definitely Shoot to Kill, because they have been doing very well on Miramar in MPL. They had some very good games in the group stage on Miramar as well. So I'm really looking to see if they can step it up, because if they don't bring it back in these Miramar games, they're not going to be able to get into the top 8, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out here to my Aussie boys, Incognito. I think that their play style, which is a little more aggressive, will do better there. I mean, I think that they definitely are not a team that does very well in the military rotation in particular, but you know, in Miramar, it doesn't matter where the circle is. There's always sort of an option to make a foot push if you need to, and that's what Incognito's great at. Yeah,
definitely. Let's revisit our players that we took a look at the beginning of the day, and now we can kind of focus on them a bit more and see how they have done throughout the day. Unfortunately for Gaxi and Show, it's not been the easiest of days so far in terms of how many kills they've been able to accrue. Hulk, though, is going to be sitting at the top there for VSG, and I think a lot of that probably came off the back of their first place that they were able to get in the fields north of Quarry.
I mean, I think Show has had a little bit of a slow day today. He has 1 kill, but he still has 426 damage, but that's because the rest of his team has stepped up. Shox and YYX have been putting up decent numbers. Hulk, though, for me, has been a huge standout with VSG. They have been having huge number totals, great positioning, and good, strong kill counts.
I thought you were almost going to go with hulking numbers, and I would have applauded you briefly, but Avenger, what do you make of it?
At least it doesn't say Show haven't showed up yet, but he has. Oh. They've been showing up in Pochinki, and that's honestly what's been happening so far. But for Tempo Storm, Shaggy, he's there with 3 kills, he's there with 600 damage, but I feel like on Miramar, we're going to see them kind of push into a much better position and really fight like they usually do, because that's where I feel like they're going to be doing better versus this meta, versus these teams that we see here.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's been a very unique circle series so far in this tournament.
Yeah.
And so Miramar, I would very much like to see some very casual circles. I don't want MPL circles. I don't want PEL circles. I don't want crazy South Island cliff circles. Just give me a good old-fashioned north middle. Everyone has a chance to get to a good spot and fight it out, because I'm ready for some good old-fashioned gunplay foot advances.
I'm going to draw on regional expertise for a moment here, and we haven't really done this even throughout the 5 days. But when you look at our North American teams here, going into from the MPL, of course, when you look at them, who do you think is going to be able to thrive on Miramar, given the lobby, given the power of the lobby, given the stage that we are on?
I mean, I think the biggest takeaway was STK, and we saw that during the group stages. They came out strong on Miramar. They tend to play it pretty well because, you know, we call them the Iron Man of PUBG because they move as a unit. They're very good at watching each other's back and protecting, and Miramar lends itself to that. They are also one of the best teams at stopping breaches. So remember that crash we saw them get massacred on earlier? If it had been the other way around, they would have definitely defended it.
Sure. Final thoughts, Avenger, before we head into game number 1 on Miramar?
I'm looking for a very central circle here to begin with. I'm looking for kind of the NPL, the PEL circle, actually, where we've seen a lot of TSM wins. That's where Shoot to Kill really steps up and get a lot of kills, and that's going to propel them forward, push them into the top 8.
You mean up near Crossroads, right?
Yes. I mean, I think that this is go time. The teams at the top, I don't want to see them let off the gas. They got to keep pressure up. They got to put down the points. But the teams at the bottom, they're running out of time, and now it's time to shake things up, get aggressive, and look for middle positions early.
That's right. Pedal to the metal, load up those Murados. We're going to Miramar here for game number 4 of the day. And we've also rotated out the casting pair as well. It's going to be Pansy and Sims bringing you all the action.
Thank you so much. And what an honor it is now to see these teams in the position they truly deserve. They had to fight so hard through that group stage, and some just pipping others to the post to make it into these final groups. Rich, who are we looking at? We've seen Erangel now. We're coming into Miramar. It's a different case. It's a different situation. It's a different terrain. Who's going to catch your eye here?
I think that's the most important thing. We're seeing teams like STK that are well and truly down at the bottom, I think, with 1 point.
Yeah, what's
potential.
happened there?
So you have to remember when we look back at Miramar, we had Erangel, we had 2 island circles.
We did.
When they load in Saverne, you're always going to have a difficulty when you're perpendicular opposite sides of the map.
Spot on.
This is for them a time to shine, and these teams that are struggling to pick it up on Erangel because of those circles, you have to make up the points now. This is a different terrain, different map, and again, once we're done here, we are down to the last 9. The more difficult position you end out today, the harder it is tomorrow because you have limited time to jump up the leaderboards. The Korean teams at the moment, they are killing it.
Truly, they are. We have some incredible fans in the audience. You guys at home, I'm sure, can hear them supporting their favorite teams. They're all over Twitter. They're everywhere.
As well.
It's amazing to see. So one, thank you to them. And thank you to you guys at home. Let's get into this one. It's going to be a great matchup. Already teams starting to hit the floor and get ready to go. I am so impressed by the swing up from the Rangers. Them, in my eyes, I love watching their story. They weren't in the qualification spot for a little bit of time. I remember hearing James talking about this, what's gone wrong, what's happening, and then they started to deliver, they started to perform, we started to see them. And they're certainly pushing that table. Currently, the top 3, arguably 4, are starting to break ahead of the pack. So if you're looking at the overall rankings, teams outside of that top 4 have to start pushing here.
I want to kind of follow up with that, and I get it, they're doing well, it's fantastic. I don't want to take any of that away from them at all, but we do have to remember yesterday when they started to pick it up again, they've been looting Military Island for quite some time. They got the circle, and they said in the interview, we know this better than any other team here.
Yep.
They've now had 3 in a row pretty much. We've had 4 games and they've been 3 millicircles, so of course, naturally, they should be at the top. If they wasn't, I would be extremely disappointed because then they've kind of
had their opportunity
and not walk the walk.
Absolutely. It's again one of these little bit of back and forth to begin with. Nothing really actually connecting on either player. They did get the guns. They've been able to kind of move back towards different areas, and we'll see that a lot early on in Miramar, but let's have a look at lots of the owners as well. We've got Incognito and Envy, and they're splitting it well enough. It is still a big city, plenty of loot available. Any early sort of positioning jumping out to us, or is this relatively standard? Pozo looks a little busy.
Yeah, I think that's the one that we do have to keep an eye on. Windstrike, they do like to take that western road. They don't usually go head over heels for Pozo, sometimes just looting the back of it around the E and the L. It looks like C9 have turned up and decided to turn and face because OMG went for the long flight. We did have a more southerly flight path, I want to say. Circle was rather favourable to it, at least. There's a tiny bit of water, not too much. But still, where the plane came over, the teams that are going to be happy, of course, Incognito, Envy, they're in Leones. They're not quite central, but damn near there, ready for the circle to come their way.
Liquid are in a really nice spot, actually. I was kind of just looking towards that. They can early rotate so comfortably.
I think the thing for Liquid is that they have a lot of room and a lot of breathing space around them. They can go to their home turf. No one's going to bother them. There's going to be vehicles, guns, utility gear. No matter what you want, they'll be coming out of there happy. They're a team that likes to rotate quick. So for them, because there is breathing room, there's potential to maybe pick up a spot that they know that is essentially a choke point for this circle.
Yeah, and Tempo and Liquid, I want to see more from them as well. If we've been talking about the Korean teams who've been doing so well, 4 a.m., starting to warm into this too, we're looking at then the North American and European region, and they're the 2 big names that I'm looking at, obviously as Ents no longer in this point, to start delivering a bit. They're a little further down the table, not completely out of it, of course, that's beyond the point, but they're one of the teams that need to graft a couple of good results to ensure the top of the pack don't run away with it.
There is obviously a bigger thing at stake here, and that's more seats towards PGI. Once we get to this, there is 3 seats available that you can bag from this. Now, for instance, if 3 European teams came first, second, and third at this event, we'd still only have 1 spot for Europe. It would then fall to the next available region. At the moment, it's Korea, China, and North America.
Yep.
There isn't actually a European team in the top 3 for those seats. So there is a bigger game afoot here when we talk about regional fan bases.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys are at home and you're banking on your favorite team to pick it up, use that hashtag as well, hashtag FACEIT Global Summit. I love everyone at home backing their favorite teams, watching them throughout the group stage, and now everyone starts to get a little nervous. They start to see all the big teams who've been fine, they've been coasting, they've been quiet, they got through the qualifications, now going, okay, they're picking up, they're starting to look really deadly. We are seeing some early rotations, nothing too surprising, but teams heading in, and I'm sure our sideline reporters will be keeping tabs on this. Anything that stands out or catches their eye, we'll probably hear from them in a bit, but for now, nothing too surprising. James, eyes on the horizon, lovely skirt as well.
And again, not going quite into Los Leones, but been able to keep a tabs on teams that might be working their way by. It looks like AG have actually turned up, but I think we might have some reports on the sideline.
Let's head on over and hear what they've worked out so far.
Yeah, guys, just talking about obviously the changes. You know, we obviously see an NIP Kumasera now. There's a whole bunch of teams that were fighting over San Martin, and one of those is also 4AM. They've got El Pozo, and Windstrike have never had to fight for El Pozo, so suddenly they find themselves outside of it, sort of shoved out, unaware of really what to do. Meanwhile, obviously, we saw Tempo and OPR clashing a little bit there. But something we noticed, Armory Gaming, they will rotate on 3 minutes. They must be moving with next to no loot every single time. Maybe that's why the points are reflecting it. Back to you guys.
Thank you. I did spot one of the players from AG moving, and I was thinking if they're looking still for somewhere to loot, but I guess you're right. Did we just hear someone pull up? Envy certainly did. This is going to be one of the Koreans. Oh no, he's pulled up here. Moody's caught a glimpse. Where's Venerated? Venerated had a really nice line of sight from above, and oh, that's a big loss early on for the Korean side. They did not want that to be happening.
Yep, Kale go down. Clearly a scout on his own, just looking for a place to pick up, but it looks like Envy had read that one well. More heading north, and again trying to aim against that water, hoping that it does push towards the more northern areas. Teams that will have a bit of more of an easier transition. 17 and STK, they've yet to make their way into the circle, but unless they clash on rotation, that should be pretty fairly clear for them. AFF and NIP, very close on that western side. They have to be careful, and the problems that we might fall into now, it's teams like Windstrike, 4AM and C9. They're all essentially going on the same rotational path, which is down the west. 4AM might just go a bit wild and wonderful and say, okay, well, we'll go past Picado, no problems there. But the longer you leave this circle later on to get inside it, the more chance there is teams playing edge, pick you up, knock you down while you're on that rotation. And unfortunately for Entus, they're the ones that fall first.
Duckmans, this guy has got fragging power. We've seen it, it's certainly caught our eye. And Insight needs to listen out. I'm not sure if he's fully aware of what could be close by, but NBS laying down the fire with a mini towards AFF. You highlighted it, NIP and AFF were very close by. Lambu went a little further out on his own, maybe scouting, maybe looking for high ground positioning, and he's been met by some very well-placed 5-5, so that's gonna hurt a hell of a lot for AFF if they can't get him back up, and it's a risky route to run. It feels like maybe they could get there, but do you want to risk it?
Yeah, you have to weigh this one up and say, okay, what can we commit to this? There is a response there in the form of a few bullets. Look at Gaxi. Yeah, this is the thing with NIP.
Yeah, but Miracu's just been traded on.
Oh, well, this was the danger, right? Being able to do this and actually some sort of response. I think AFF will commit to the res, which Gaxi probably didn't want to do. He might be able to get close and get a grenade off. There's still a fair amount of distance there.
Yeah, but there's a third party. There's fire coming in from AG. This isn't just towards AFF as well. I'm pretty sure some of those traces went towards NIP as well, potentially, or someone else is watching. There's a lot going on here, and this is the player on top of the roof, Insight. He's heard these shots, and he's probably shaking in his boots. He doesn't want to go back down anymore. What is Gaxi up to? He was the one-man push. Are you kidding me, Gaxi?
It's dangerous.
Are you kidding me right now? That nade in the hand could find perfect placement. It's gone. Can it reach him?
Oh my.
Oh, it's good
my.
style! Just about alive with a slither of HP. Lambu's trying to move back as well. He was so damaged early on, and Gaxi.
He's on still.
He's
This is
creeping.
questionable.
He's hunting. Gaxi wants this. Has he got a little bit of a bloodlust on? He's looked over the ridge. He's spotted down one. That's the first victim to fall. That style removed, eliminated. Gaxi now looking for more. There's still smoke up. We did see Lambu make it back to the rest of the team. And Gaxi's aggression, second to none.
I think for him now, you want to pull back. Go back to NIP. You've done the damage. You've took a point. Clearly, you might have wanted more, but there will be that long-distance fire coming in from Armory across the road. They might have a line of sight. Look, don't get overzealous. Don't force yourself.
Wow.
That's an interesting one. for the simple fact we still have an element of water in there, which we know it will eventually pull away from, which basically we can cut off about 20% of the map here.
Oh, inside. Has he been spotted? He must have taken a shot at some point, and now he's in that horrible spot where you've got 2 players, potentially 3, with ability to land some shots towards you. He's trying to take a different route to get out of here safely, but safety is going to be tough. He doesn't know if there's still more players potentially in that compound.
He doesn't have to commit to anything. You'd expect Armory to pull away from this. There's no reason to chase one person outside in the blue, especially in a building like that. I mean, what's the point of giving it up? You're going to get funneled on the stairs if you do try and push up that way. Actually, a couple of warning shots, which is fair play. He might even get this. That's impressive. Out of the back as well, so the point does come through, but there is a response. Hits him in the face. 72 damage. That forced him back. But can they get the smokes off? Is it worth committing to that, or they just leave him to die and move on?
His teammates have left him as well. Incognito are nowhere near him. He's left on his own. Team Liquid were kind of trailing Envy on rotations. Envy pulled up and Liquid carry on. The whole rotation plan is getting very, very messy. That northern side of 17 Gaming. ENF, you've got Aerowolf in there. Team Liquid trying to find space. And again, ENF laying down fire. This is 17 Gaming trying to find their home, and there's not much around for them anymore.
I think if we look back to that Gaxi play, it kind of shows you what's on the line here and how vital points are.
Chempty.
You need to get aggressive like that. You need to get up close and personal. You need to claim these scalps when you think you can. Even if it's a position where you might be able to trade off a player. Again, putting as many bodies into that final circle is imperative. Look at all the vehicles just packed up in defense. No tiles will be taken for now. Windstrike, we've seen them down here in the PL a fair amount of times along that southerly road.
And I do want to keep in the back of our minds, they were the ones that struggled with that early looting, considering their town got taken. NIP setting up a roadblock here, or are they carrying on? I'm curious if they've spotted out 4am.
Yeah, kind of cut you off there. It was NIP definitely caught a glimpse, and they paused for a second. It might have been just to trade meds. 4am though, they walk up to the party. SLR with an 8 times on the back. It's a dangerous and beautiful weapon to look at. The thing is, by essentially poking NIP now, you've given away your position and let them know where you are. For 4am, it would be stupid, in my opinion, if they decided to try and tackle NIP head-on, because NIP should be able to set up here and wait for them. Maybe expect...
feisty lot. Miracu's there. Yeah. It looks like they're heading north.
I think they should branch off from this, potentially.
I'm pretty sure they will. Windstrike, we knew they were having issues with loot. We'll see what they have eventually. I'm sure that'll become apparent. But now let's look at NIP. Miracu pulled up for a second. Maybe see if he heard, spotted, worked out where 4am are. 4am headed further north from this. NIP have gone for a more southern swing to find their route in. They know they probably can't get central at this point, but they could certainly play edges, working their way forward. They could run into maybe VSG or Windstrike down the line, but there's a lot of teams in the center still struggling. Insight was the man who got left behind in Los Leones. He was the one that made it very tricky for AFF, I think it was. Again, or it was AG, excuse me. He's now going to be able to rejoin his teammates. That's more surprising than anything, that he's made it through the complete gauntlet of a run.
The problem is for these teams that are playing edge is with this next circle, with how many compounds are actually taken. Oh, there's still water in. We're still shifting. Okay, so the next one. Now, this is a point where you look towards Tempo Storm, you look towards Rangers, Envy. You know, Circle 4, it's shifting from the water. It's going central.
Look at Rangers positioning, Rich.
They're ready for it. They've read this one quite well.
Speaking of ready for it, here we go. Oh, the pull-up from Windstrike's players. He's prone down. That's a foot to be shown. That's a kill to be had. Cloud9 going to get one on the board for them, surely. But there's a response from Nuki very quickly. Lobes getting caught out, being put on notice quickly as K-Mind wants in on the action. The fan favorite wants to get a little bit of blood spilled early on. But can Temi be picked up, or is he a lost cause now?
I'd say a lost cause. To try and bring this one back, if I would Nuki, I'd try and get back to my teammates. It's easier said than done, as he is quite exposed and in the open. Oh dear, I'm seeing on the map C9, BSG,
Rangers.
Team Liquid. This is going to be a bloodbath. They're turning up, and the Rangers, they might have caught the blunt end of it here because they've been caught out by Aerowolf.
How did Aerowolf just pull that off? They compound crashed and Babo just got picked up. I do not know how that happened for him. And there's 2 players in his compound. DG98, is he still inside here?
How have they let them get this
He's
close?
He's inside. DG98, his house has got 2 enemies in there with him. This is terrifying for him. I don't know how he's still standing. The whole compound is now smothered in enemies. They're all surrounding. His backup's on the way, but Adam's laying down fire towards 17 Gaming. They're on the run. They're trying to find their little bit of a compound. Another member of Windstrike falls. That's actually Temi confirmed. It's AFF Shadow fighting 4am. That's That's 4am gone.
No. One of the fan favorites is down in 16th position. They were second coming into this, so that's a huge skull to take off this map, especially for the teams that are looking onwards at that top spot. That's a disaster.
How has that happened? I could not tell you. The support, though, for the Rangers has arrived. You still got DG98 feeling very, very scared in that compound, staying alive. Armory Gaming, though, going to catch out NIP. That's NBS gone. Confirmed as well, no chance for a trade or revive. A lot of teams are losing out on players, but with RDK falling, the Rangers could come back into this. NIP trying to move forward. The blue just chunking away at Miracle slowly but surely. Duckmans is above on the ridge. Honboya is there as well, that SKS. NIP might be being hunted and herded here. But AFF, they're ahead of this as well. This is terrifying. NIP, Vard's working his way forward. General's up on top. The first couple of shots come through. Spots out the player, gets the tag, not the frag. Spins towards Duckman, but it's Honboya to find Vard. And now NIP looking worse for wear. Miracle was down behind. He did find Duckman's on the way. But is there any more to be seen, or is he left to the blue? Honboya is hurting, though. That blue hurts.
And again, you're seeing all these fights from these teams that didn't central up at the start. Incognito looks like they're getting involved in the center. We saw DG98 in that building. He has claimed one back at least. That's the only central fight really so far throughout this one. It actually shifted more towards the north. So the Rangers, they stay central.
If they can clear this compound, they're
That's
great.
the bigger problem.
They had a crash coming in from Aerowolf, and it worked out well. It took down Babo, but where's the rest of it? Demerit has found one. They're still fighting a really good fight here. They're clearing this one out as they go, but VSG, it's Hulk, one of the players that was highlighted at the start, fending off Team Liquid in the low ground. He wants this 12 bullets left. Is that enough? Let's find out. He's down to nothing now. He's got to switch away. He goes for the reload. If he's still down there, Jempty's still down there, but they can't get away from it. Jempty trades back in on Hulk, but there's so many more players for VSG looking to take the fight from. Oh, it's Jempty! He turns it on a dime.
Just like that. The downhill disadvantage is no problem as well, and Santi comes through from the back line, so Team Liquid, they stay alive to fight. Another one! Oh my, what? 2 for 1. It's not job done just yet. Santi's still lingering around.
But what can Santi do? Maybe someone else can help out now. Cloud9, will you avenge the Europeans, or are you sitting there with a smile on your face as AFF just dismantled the vast majority of their team?
What a read that was. What a complete mop-up. They heard the shots going on. They transitioned across the map. They didn't bother going to the center. They said, not a problem. We'll actually crack on and get involved in this.
There it comes. And oh my word, AFF, they were so brutal in that.
So Santi, how many meds do you really have, and what can you really do? There are several. Oh, actually,
there's other players in front of him.
There's 2 solos in front of him. And again, this is the remnants of all these teams that were playing Edge. This has just caused so many problems.
AFF, Cloud9, they're not far away from each other. They're just over this ridgeline. It looks like Cloud9 are trying to fall away, and Incognito are setting up the barriers to try and gatekeep them out here. NN is looking for this.
We spoke about this earlier on, how all these teams had camped down. They got themselves into compounds. Really? Where do you interject yourself into the circle? Every single corner, every single building.
Cloud9, though.
Look, you enter the
Santi's
circle.
Gone.
Yeah, that's it. You really can't do anything here. Every single line of sight is monitored by a team. You've got 1, 2, 3. You've got 6 teams playing Edge. Like, where do you really go? And this is what happens. All these solo stakes, they try to make something work. Armory Gaming catch Miracle. That's the remnants of the fight we saw early on. This has not turned out well for all these teams that didn't go center.
No, you're right. I do want to look at the south slightly just as a catch-up. Cloud9 went east, AFF have gone west. Incognito are doing a 2-2 split here. They'll find one of the 2 squads coming in towards them. Obviously, AFF and Cloud9 do not have circle yet, but Envy have joined in on the fight as well. They're firing down towards AFF. That's the Traces from quite far away. And Envy were battling a little with Team Tempo Storm. There's a lot of these fights from distance, but who's going where? AFF have that little bit of a valley they're running through. It's dangerous because Incognito are on top of it. And Armory Gaming are coming around the back of this. Or what should I say is remaining.
He's been spotted. They definitely saw him. I don't think they know the exact position, but those grenades should definitely be a warning with an UMP as well. Like,
but look at Incognito,
range.
Rich. As soon as AFF move forward, they're going to be met by the Aussies. And Armory Gaming, General, he can try and play this out as the last man alive. Hope that kicks off any second, and then just work his way forward and just try and not be spotted.
I know he's got a mini, but really with 2 smokes and an ump, what can you do up close and personal? If AFF don't see him, Incognito will. And then it's going to be a real problem. Incognito do feel the full force. Lambu force back for now. Grenade you'd expect to come out and maybe try and Set a mortar strike over, see if there can be some kind of knock here. This helps C9 in the distance that have been kicking it. Circle has had shifted away. That grenade, though, bangs, run on straight into the floor. Mukau comes back, finds Lambu. He's down.
Wait, third party from Cloud9. Nerf's just stolen the kill as well. Cloud9 heard this all happening, and now General wants in on the action. AFF are winning out the fight against Incognito. Here comes that UMP, unleashing those bullets. General finds Shadow for the trade. Oh, General, another! AFF go down, and General, the one man, does it.
This is what happens when you leave a solo Snake alive. He just comes back. I mean, I said, what can he really do with a UMP? Well, I tell you what, he's made it work. He's into the top 11. He picks up 2 frags as well for his team. That's pretty good to say he's a solo.
Envy are about to run past a couple of squads here. Yeah, thank you, observers. You are on the ball. And oh no, the driving is far from perfect. Moody's been found en route and just bleeding by the wayside, as that's a confirmed kill. Enters Force waiting quite patiently on this flank position. They could be a third party, or are they safe? I think they're quite safe here, actually.
I'm not too sure because they're outside the circle.
They have Indigo,
The thing is,
though.
when they do this, if you go north, it's literally a fight between the 2 North American rosters. You're going to stuck
General.
between Tempo Storm and STK.
Yeah, but look at Yak. Yak is the most patient man in the world. He waits. Oh, but did he strike at the wrong time? Oh, interrogate, you animal! Pulls up, knocks him down. ENF looking worse for wear. Where did they just go? Maybe waiting too long. Venerated up on top as well. He wasn't going to let this fall away as 17 Gaming spot out Cloud9. It's Venerated as well, finding another kill towards Entus.
They need to remove all of Entus to be able to give them some kind of clear line of sight. There is a response. Profit back on it. Will answer back. They'll manage to clean this one up, which is pretty decent because once they do this, this is basically a fight for this edge of the circle. There's so much room around them. Once they've dealt with them, they can keep moving.
Yeah, but YY and Monkey King are up in the north here. How is he still going? He just found Waikika. That's amazing. Cloud9 and 17 Gaming are trading so heavily, but the support system for 17 Gaming was further in the north. They're coming down. They're trying to finally General falls, but what a stand he made, as we must keep tabs on this Cloud9 fight with 17 Gaming. The nades are being followed up, as it looks like Cloud9 are trying to get the revives back in. Envy just got eliminated as well, trying to go around from the north.
There's one player remaining from Entus.
They had a nade on this Cloud9
trying to grab that res, which would be imperative to be able to put 2 into the circle. Tempo still holding the line here. The res will come through.
But Monkey King.
He was the person that I was about to touch on next because he basically can just watch all this.
He's got such a sick angle, Rich. He's got such a sick angle here. He's going to take down one. Where's the trade? He can't get it. He tries to adjust. He sprays. He can't do it all. He found 2. Where's YY in this? He needs into the action. K-Mind is trying to protect his team. The nade comes out. It's gone too far. But the shots are perfect from YY. Profi is down and out. And the last man alive, I think, is K-Mind.
A 2-man band have done so much damage. He needs to be aware of K-Mind. He can't get the res here for the distance with the 4 times on the back. Does he even know he's here? That's the question. The smokes are going out. He'll probably try and make it work, so essentially it could be bait. Actually, he's getting hit from behind. 17 are gone. Windstrike have come upside the hill.
The southeast push from Windstrike finally works out for them. Cloud9 is still down to 1 man, and Windstrike are just clearing through. They don't know what's happened in front of them. They're just bodies littered around. We have 7 teams left, Richard. Who are we looking at here?
You have to look at the North American powerhouses. You've got Tempo Storm that are holding down a very good compound in the north, but STK have a lot of room to breathe. They have so much space around them, viable pretty much for maneuverability. You have AW and the Rangers, still those solo people inside the compounds in the south, but they're kind of holding each other back. They're forcing each other to the point where they don't have to engage, but they can't do nothing because they're just basically camping. Entus Force still on the edge. They're in a very tricky spot because 2 teams will have, well, you can see now on screen, they have nothing. They have 2 hay barrels. There's 1. And potentially we're about to see the second one go down as well. So Entus, look for them going out rather soon. But certainly, Tempo Storm, STK in a very, very good position.
And I'm going to say it now, for their teams, they needed it. Tempo Storm was 9th coming into this, and it was shoot to kill in last place. So they want the points, they wanted games like this, and now this is the time to do it. Shoot to kill, have northern control. The southeast is Windstrikes, excluding that pesky K-Mind. Tixu does seem to be wondering if there's anyone back here. He is so hyper aware that there could be a potential player, and he might be aware that it could be Cloud9, considering they would have seen in the kill feed that back and forth coming through, so maybe wondering, where's he gone? But with the blue moving in, you'll find out soon enough. the compounds, as you said, they're all taken so far, but Shoot to Kill have so much room in the north.
The compounds are good for now, but depending on what this next circle does, it could be a detriment.
Yep.
Because if Tempo have to come out of their houses, they have a lot of open ground. And because STK are up on a hillside, the line of sight that's provided there by their position is just absolutely imperative now. Uncivil gets a warning shot from Windstrike. That opens up their position and gives away that actually, regardless of whether that's a knock or not, Windstrike could have kept their mouth shut there and been a bit of a sneaky one as we move into the circle. It does go the way of the compound players. STK, Windstrike, they're forced to make the move here. K-Mind on the edge in the grass.
He can't open up on Windstrike. He just can't. He needs someone else to engage.
He's going to go down, but he'll instantly go for the flush. That's the thing. You're just going to murder them.
He needs an engagement from these compounds, and I'm pretty sure that's what he'll wait on, is if one of Aerowolf or the Rangers open up towards Windstrike, sure, he'll join in. We do see the fight starting to happen with Tempo Storm up in the north with Shoot to Kill, but Windstrike are working their way forward, and I don't know if they're going to be expecting this. Two individuals in two different houses, and these guys have been dedicated to watching the push here, so if Windstrike aren't careful, they're going to walk into a trap that was never set for them, but they'll fall nonetheless. RDK holding the stairwell. Where is DG98 in this? What's he holding? He must be hearing these steps now. He must know there's something coming his way. We are talking about the south. This is in the north. Shoot to Kill, laying down some shots afar, and the first couple of nades showing that there's someone nearby starting to come in.
So for Windstrike, they get some kind of respite, and they'll have a little bit of cover, but they are the poor man's shacks, unfortunately, compared to the main buildings with a level 2 in the line of sights, which are occupied by two different teams and solo players in themselves. I like what Indigo did earlier on. He puts down some covering fire, which allows his teammate from Entus to rotate behind. They've gone and picked themselves up a bit of cover. But again, everyone's playing edge. Yeah. The closest person, ironically, is RDK to the center.
Yeah. I do like what Shoot to Kill are doing, though. I'm excited to see if they can pull something off late game here. They still have a little bit of nice terrain to play with, but it eventually runs out, and compounds get all the vision.
Just to know, we can see Entus, they've been throwing all these smokes. That's a bigger issue when we talk about the next circle, because you need them to maneuver this circle, because it's such an open ground.
Exactly, that
the
western side
utility
ridge.
Now, it could essentially be a waste.
Yeah, there's so little cover. You can see there's the kind of hay bales or mounds of hay, but beyond that, it's very limited, especially in the west. Again, still shots coming towards Shoot to Kill, but they have this kind of more dippy terrain. We've got a little bit to play with. It looks like Tempo Storm might be gearing up to potentially leave. I'm not sure why those smokes are down so early if that's not the case, trying to find safety potentially, as we are waiting for that next circle to come in and see who's going to be on the poor end of receiving that.
Calm before the storm.
Here it comes.
Circle. We'll go in center. Okay.
Okay, so range is still good.
Yeah,
RDK still good.
I mean,
Windstrike's
we said
still
they're
good.
still good. It's two solos. If Windstrike want to push these guys out, it's going to be a problem. But it will be eyes on the prize for STK. This is easy pickings. But who goes first? We have a slower side for Tempo, but we have the denial of line of sight on the side of STK.
Yeah, I think STK are fine unless it comes to Tempo Storm. Tempo Storm have no cover to play with, but I'm pretty sure they can see down into Shoot to Kill's position. So I think for Shoot to Kill, they need to focus on that northern side. I don't know if that ridge actually protects them unless they just prone down, which I guess you could do, but then you have zero information on anyone from the south.
The smokes, they're here. They're going to go for it, Lauren. You can see that. They know they need to make the move here. This is it. They've already gone out, so if they don't go now, they will be dissipating, and then they'll be...
Tixu's going upstairs! RDK, Tixu, really smart play. He shoulder peeks the angle, and now the fire comes in. RDK's getting tagged up from STK. That nade's really good as well. RDK needs to... Oh no!
No.
Oh no! It was Tixu's nade that got him, but it could have been his own at the end. Oh my word. But look at Tempo Storm. They just rocked up. They've just gone south. They had vehicles. Look at this crash. They've come in, and DG98, nade in hand. He is waiting up top. He hears the steps. He knows the pressure's there. ENF try to sneak their way forward in the fields, but the fire comes in from Shoot to Kill. That compound in the south is terrifying. Adam has found Indigo. That's ENF now suffering down to 1. But look at DG98. He goes upstairs. He holds the line. Sharky pre-fires. Oh, it's going to even Luka take him down, though, and that is Entus Force eliminated as Tempo Storm hold the compound.
But Windstrike have heard this. How many grenades do they really have, though?
That's what we're going to find out.
It could do a low ball and maybe go for something to force them back. Can we appreciate that rotation of north all the way to the opposing south, straight across? They put the smokes, they took the vehicle, they stayed alive.
He's creeping.
He's got rid of his bag as well, so he knows he's trying to hide and just stay alive. And with 5
Who's fighting?
kills
It's Shoot to Kill and Tempo Storm then. Do they not know? Okay, there we
Look at the barrage.
Oh, no, K-Mine. Oh, he doesn't even know
That was an
it.
accidental death.
Oh.
They're like, well, we weren't aiming for him, but we'll take him anyway. That's a free
but
point.
that is an intended death. Look, he goes down to It's Your Boy Dre. He's pretty baffled as to why on earth he just saw K-Mine die, but Uncivil wants in on the action. Windstrike trying to make a push, but that's going to be helped out by STK. It looks like Sharky's gone down to Tixu, but there's the wipe. Your boy Dre is coming up with big results. And Maluki's in a car. Purdy Curdy's loving that one, but Maluki's now split the circle. Aggressive, smart play, but nade's still in the hands of Shoot to Kill, and that's a great nade under the car. Oh, the explosion, it's perfect. Tempo Storm are suffering, and all that remains is your boy Dre.
STK, they know it's time to go. They waited, and they bided their time. He'll try and commit to the zone, which he potentially did. Denies STK another point, but it's NA all day. 3 teams into the top 4. Windstrike unfortunately getting the blunt end of both Tempo and STK, but what a much needed 16 points from the side of a team that came into this with only 1.
Exactly, both Shoot to Kill and Tempo Storm desperately needed points there. That was one of the games where if you were looking at the overall standings, Tempo Storm not so much, they're within the top 10, but you still want to see more from them. But for Shoot to Kill, that was paramount for them.
What a fantastic job. I still can't get over that complete polar opposite transition of the smokes with the vehicles. We didn't quite catch it. All we saw was Windstrike having to deal with it. They just rocked up at the back building, eliminated one, took that for themselves. And that rotation, okay, they didn't come top. But for Tempo, it was do or die. If they wouldn't have done that, they wouldn't have been in the top 5.
Yeah.
They would literally have died to STK outside on the edge.
I mean, and also, how on earth did K-Mine stay alive for so long? That's just hilarious to me.
And
They
then an
just snuck-
accidental grenade takes him.
You know you're devastated. They're like, no one's seen me, and somehow this is bounced. You're just sat there like, okay, this is a good time. Good time.
This is fine.
But the Rangers as well, considering they had the circle for some time, they tried to hold on for a long time there after that very scrappy battle with Aerowolf that happened for so long after that crash came through. But still, so much to be seen and so much to be said. I think at the end of the day, this is a very good result for the North American squads out there. For you guys at home, we're going to take a second to relax, get our breath, and get ready for some more Miramar action. 2 more games to go, but there's so much more to be seen before that. The desk is going to break it down. We're going to hear from so many of the players. It's all coming up. Guys, do stay tuned. We'll be back in just a second.
So I'm here today with the Ninjas in Pyjamas PUBG team. We're going to talk a little bit about PUBG on FACEIT. So I'm going to start off over here. What do you enjoy so much about playing PUBG on FACEIT?
I think FACEIT is the best practice you can get outside of like public games and scrims. It's just super fun, you know, to play with a mix of friends. Super easy, and yeah, you just create a team and that's it. You play with your friends, frag out. You play against good opponents, so I think that's the best thing about it.
Without FACEIT, there wouldn't be too much grinding. And you wanna like grind in the game that you play and like you work because you wanna keep your like skill level up. You wanna play against good players, and that's what you can do in FACEIT, so it's really cool.
So do you think FACEIT has allowed the competitive PUBG scene to grow?
Yeah, for sure. Like new like talent comes into the scene through FACEIT and everything. Yeah, I think it's like the best thing to come to PUBG.
And if you want to become as good as the NIP boys, head over to fce.gg/PUBG to play against some of the very best players of PUBG around the world.
Party all night, feel like the song. Drinking all night long. Shake a leg with rum in my hand. Everybody feel nice to party as one.
Oh, great nade. Another one.
That's a good nade.
Beautiful nade.
Bye-bye.
Hey James, have you seen my keyboard anywhere? I'm trying to log on to FACEIT so I can get my drops tomorrow, but it's missing. No? Well, I mean, all right, I'll check the desk.
Welcome back to the FACEIT Global Summit. Well, I am down in the Shoot to Kill team pod, and we've got the entire team here, but we're going to be speaking to the nominated spokesperson, Adam. How is the team feeling coming off of that win?
We're definitely feeling good. We needed that win really badly. We had a really rough start in Wrangle, but we love Miramar. We've always loved Miramar, and we played our game this game, and you're going to see more of that for sure.
So we hear esports teams say that a lot, playing our game. What is your game? What did you change coming from Wrangle into Miramar?
Well, on Miramar, we're able to control our zone more than on Wrangle, especially with the two military circles, and it just helps us, coming from a center spot on Miramar, being able to control our zone, and that helps us play our game.
Well, you looked very controlled in a really hectic environment, right? Those last couple of minutes, there were so many kills going off from everywhere. What were you guys focusing on? Because it seems like Tempo Storm kind of got a bit distracted with the other teams, kind of forgot about you.
Yeah, so we saw Tempo, they were to our east or to our west, and we saw them crash the center compound, and we knew that we had control of the zone at that point, and we just took center of the last circle, and we won the game from there.
So were you employing some of the same tactics that we saw in the first first days of competition? Because you guys were really pulling out ahead of the pack there.
Yeah, we're definitely trying to get back to how we were playing on the first day. And we're definitely going to see more of that.
Well, I'm very excited to get into more of that. But before we do that, we're going to head back over to the desk.
And with that, Shoot to Kill makes me eat my words after watching them play on Erangel, and they find themselves a massive chicken dinner there at the very end. Relative to the entirety of the pack, of course, here, as Tempo Storm is able to take themselves to the second place spot as well. Toffees, MPL.
Who got third? Who got third?
Might be Cloud9.
NPL needed a big turn up here at the start of Miramar. I think that Martin thought I guess this goes back to our earlier argument about how I thought North America performs better on Miramar. We definitely saw it in that game, all right? They came out 1-2-3. Windstrike had to hold against the North American Alliance, and then ultimately it came down to them fighting each other.
What happened to PEL, Martin?
Well, they used all their nades on one guy. No, Windstrike, obviously, they got third here in this match, but they didn't get as much kills as expected. But they also played kind of on the lesser populated kind of side of the circle. But their rotations was on point. Them being able to kind of get into the later stages of the game is just the story of Windstrike. They managed to always get into kind of top 8, top 4 with a few kills here and there. And then you have Nuki sometimes that pops off and get like 6 kills in one game. It's going to save them. And that's kind of always the story of Windstrike. Also what we've seen in PEL.
I mean, that is the story of Windstrike. Consistently above average. The question is consistently above average enough to take home a win? I'm thinking it'll take home probably a top 6 for them. But if you want to hoist the trophy, which I hear is a very heavy one, you need to put in some work.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I tried to lift that thing yesterday at least 35 kilograms. Oh, maybe 32, 34 kilograms.
Do you have that in freedom pounds?
No. Okay. I'll do the conversion later.
About 70.
Really?
Yeah, like 60, 70.
Was
I think
a heavy trophy.
I don't think it's that heavy. I think it's like 40 or 50 pounds, so like 25 kilos-ish.
Anyway, regardless, game highlights. Tell me about them.
Yes.
Go ahead, Martin.
I will tell. No, big story here is that in this match, a lot of our top teams, except Rangers, went out outside the top 10 with not a lot of kills. Only Freaks, they managed to get 8 of them though, so that is very good for them. But they only managed to get 12 there, so no points from placement. General here though from Armory Gaming, what an amazing 1 versus 2 against Freaks here, managed to get them down. And that was kind of what caused Freaks there because they weren't able to get out of that.
Worth noting, there wasn't a ton of kills at the top of the bracket because Freaks and Armory got 8 and 7 respectively at the bottom of the placement. So they're still going to be in pretty good form going forward. That's what we saw last time around with Envy kind of getting 7 kills and going out early. As we move to the end game, it came about control. STK had a great spread up there on the northeast and forced everyone else into one box. Dre tried to get out there to cover it, but it wasn't enough, and then got a great payday.
Your boy Dre showing up here towards the end of the circles, and also showing up here for NVIDIA. So big points rolling in here for our MPL teams, and as you mentioned, very much so important for them to keep themselves stable here. And do you think that that can continue? I mean, Miramar, as you said, we had that discussion a few times over the past couple of days, even here today, that they are strong on Miramar, and showing up here, it shows no difference to what we kind of came to as a conclusion.
I hope so. I think partly because it's a mental game, so that does help a lot. But another side is just the way that they play in North America, right? So Korea is a good example of a different style. They have somebody called the turret generally, who stands out in front and does all the shooting, and everyone else kind of protects them. Their job is just to mow people down.
Yeah.
NPL's got, I don't want to say a superstar idea, but this idea that everyone sort of has a player who's out in front, who's hunting for the kills. They're not a turret because they're very mobile, but I think Miramar functions for that system, right? Somebody can make a few more mistakes or take a few more risks and get away with it than a Wrangle where if you make a hard push and you're caught with your pants down in the open, you just die.
Miramar is definitely kind of the map where you want to make sure that you have people that have your back clear, then you send one guy in the front that just can focus on the 180 in front of them, right? And that's what I really like, especially from the Eastern teams that are really enabling themselves and enabling their superstar turret to do this. So this is very impressive for me.
So let's take a look at the X Factor of the match as well here, brought to you by HyperX, as always, here for the FACEIT Global Summit. And we had a lot of nade moments. I'm imagining it's probably going to be one of those. And okay. It's not the nade moment I thought it was going to be.
He got lucky. He got lucky, though.
So he threw a nade down, and multiple nades came out. But him leaving his own nade in a spot that would kill him, Windstrike already threw in.
the rewind.
Yeah. Windstrike already threw one nade in, so Tixi got that kill. But no matter what, he would have been dead there, unless he hit the ground just next to the cabinet.
So there was a moment there, okay? And I want to be clear on this. He jumped over. I don't know if he was trying to sky the grenade or not, but he actually gave the kill away. If he had stayed on his side of the desk, his own nade would have killed him, saved the point in a dramatic deny. But, it's just like, I think when he messed up the grenade, it was that responsive. I just don't know what, we've all done it.
So the cabinet was elevated compared to if he just laid down next to the cabinet, the fragmentation and the nade would have exploded to the sides, and he would be in cover of the cabinet, so...
Thinking about that in those moments, though.
No. The adrenaline is rushing through. I would never do that myself if I was in that situation.
I can tell you the only thought going
that's
through
the solution to do it.
The only thought going through your head at that moment is, I hope Ansvar isn't watching me right now. Please don't have seen that throw.
All right, let's check in with the overall leaderboards here so far for the FACEIT Global Summit as a whole. OP Gaming Rangers still at the top. In fact, there's been very little shift up at the top there, as 4 Angry Men, VSG, and Africa Freaks Fatal all went out pretty early. Other than that, though, you're seeing that your North American team's trying to shift up the leaderboards a little bit.
I mean, Shoot to Kill picked up 16 points to get them to a whopping 17, but that is still relevant because right now 6th through 5th is only at 26, so everything is still within striking distance. However, OP Rangers with, honestly, a really strong hold in that game, getting one man into the late game and a decent kill count, is the ones that I would be scared of. They keep putting board climb 1 point at a time.
For me here, what I want to see from Rangers, I want to see them keep up their playstyle. I don't want them to hit the deck now. I want them to keep shooting at people, keep playing together as a unit, making sure that they get 4 guys into the end. Because if they kind of change their style, like we see this very often, if you kind of get a very big lead, and then you just kind of stop their playstyle and make sure that they just get into the end game with not that many kills. I want to see them continue what they've been doing so far.
All right. Well,
that way they will maybe take the whole tournament.
Play as a unit. I like it as well. And an absolute unit of a chair that we have here at the FACEIT Global Summit is Vertigear. So thank you very much for them joining us here at the FACEIT Global Summit. For now, I think Frankie's ready somewhere. Where are you, Frankie? What's going on?
I'm with Tempo Storm. I'm with your boy Dre, literally. Your boy Dre is his name. Dre, talk me through that final fight. You were all on your lonesome.
Before that, we saw the circle, and we knew from earlier that there was only one of OP Rangers in the compound. So we decided it's the best play to hit the compound, and we cleared them out, and we got a couple of kills. And at the end, it was just unfortunate 1v4, so I decided to just deny the kill and go on the blue.
I do ask this to the NA teams a lot, like facing off against your fellow MPL teams.
I mean, it's always fun. We're all friends. It's just fun to go against them.
So you're not tempted to kind of run over to their booth and sabotage?
You never know. We might throw a couple of things over sometimes. But.
I realised I did ask you that question on camera, so we'll have a talk later after we finish the interview, maybe in the ad break that's coming up. Dre, talk to me about what the team needs to do, though, because you were 9th on the leaderboard going into that one, but you're still 9th because you got 5 kills, 3 of them from yourself. But some of these teams, the Koreans, they are fragging out, so what do you need to do?
We just need to play our game. We need to stay calm, stay consistent. We don't we need to not freak out, you know, and we just need to do what we do best. So.
And you guys don't freak out. You play passively. This is kind of old school, really. This is the old school NAEU style. Very, very sensible with your rotations, very clever. But if you're not taking fights, are you going to sacrifice this competition?
Yeah, I mean, it's just situational, you know. If we have a chance to get a free third party off and get a couple of kills, we go for it. But if we're not in the position to do that, then we won't. We'll just leave it.
Who's the easiest team to fight at this tournament?
I'm not going to say that.
Darn it, now we're definitely throwing to an ad break because otherwise I'm never getting answers from this young man. It's probably my questions, my fault, your boy Dre. Let's head to a break, but on the other side we're going into round number 5.